This is a mini truck. I want to be clear, this is not a Delica. This is actually a Subaru Sambar, S-A-M-B-A-R, right? 660cc engine in this puppy. That's what makes it a key truck. And this one's four-wheel drive. Two-wheel drive in the rear, push button, engages the front two wheels, independent suspension all around. Let's have a quick look at this puppy, a few key aspects to make it what it is and why it's so awesome. Coming into the side profile of this thing, you can tell it's not very aerodynamic, but that's not what we're looking for, right? This thing is meant for utility. The Delica is meant for 80 miles an hour on the highway, folks. 75, okay, fine. But this will still do 65 even with this size of tire. Look at this little guy, nice and narrow on a 12-inch rim. And if you increase the size of that tire in terms of its height or width, of course, it's not gonna go as fast, right? So you put a 3-inch lift on this thing, yeah, it looks really cool, but with this setup, you're gonna get the most performance out of this vehicle, two-wheel or four-wheel drive, best mileage and best off-road capability, believe it or not. Now, if we go over here and we look inside the vehicle, this is our only real comparison between it and the Delica. It's right-hand drive, what do you know? Stick shift, shifting with your left hand, folks. And of course, underneath here, which is a real catch, check it out. We've got the lid that allows you to fill up your coolant inside your radiator and the windshield washer fluid up front. Little tiny sneak peek there at one of the CV axles. Like I said, independent suspension all around. So there is the inside of the CV axle, folks. And I do not think that you should repair anything from inside. That little tiny zone, go underneath it, lift it off the ground. But such a cool vehicle for a lot of reasons. Some of them have a dump bed, which means you can load it up and it's hydraulically lifted, but this one is not, right? This is simply a drop side bed, couple latches here, boom. All three sides actually fold down, really cool, and of course gives you better access to the engine bay underneath here, right? It's just 4 bolts, you can access the carburetor, the air cleaner, a couple things like that. And coming around to the rear, you can see it is four-wheel drive. It is capable of holding 350 kgs, about 900 pounds. 900 pounds in the back of this tiny little truck, that's right. And underneath here, folks, is the access to some of the other parts of the engine bay, right? Such a tiny space, you're gonna need this. All the specs here on the engine, the Clover 4, and look how pretty that is, right? It didn't come like that. We did a lot of this work here. NGK, spark plugs and spark plug wires, all the gaskets underneath, timing belts over here underneath this little cover there, taking the right rear wheel off gives you access to that. But of course, for pneumatic van, we replace most of the cooling system, any rotating component, especially in the timing area, just to make sure we give you the right leg forward. This belt was original. It's a 1998. Even though it only has 18,000 kilometers on it, or 16,000 kilometers, it needed to be replaced because rubber goes stale, right? So there it is, the inline 4-cylinder, 2 valves per cylinder, single overhead cam, super premium Clover 4. One of my favorite engines in a key truck because of a lot of reasons. You can get parts for it, being the #1. And of course, I gotta say, Subaru Sambar, it's the best get up and go, best power to weight ratio. I know we're not looking for a race car here, but this thing is super fun to drive, even on the highway, right? Go A to B just like they do in Japan. On the highway in Japan, these things are all over the place. This is what they use for utility, right? And 2 people be smashed into this thing, maybe even 3 if you really gotta get the whole crew there. And pneumaticvan.life can bring them from Japan to you. Check out pneumaticvan.life for more details on other mini trucks. And if you'd like to just see what options are sitting at our lot in Japan, check us out, send us an email, info@pneumaticvan.life.